And coming up on UT Today, officials are speaking out about gun violence after a series of shootings in East Knoxville.
Plus, a business that is giving back to the Knoxville community.
And later, a one-on-one with basketball star who bleeds orange on and off the court.
That and more coming up on UT Today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this episode of UT Today, a product of the University of Tennessee School of Journalism and Electronic Media. I'm McJilton.
And I'm Courtney Cox. Knoxville is seeing an increase in the gun violence over the last few weeks. UT Today reporter Cameron Morgan Rumsey takes a look at what is being done to stop it.
Public Information Officer Scott Erland is here to talk with me via Zoom about the steps KPD is taking to stop Knoxville's sudden rise in gun violence. After a staggering rise in violent gun incidents, the City Council and Knoxville Police Department are taking actions to stop gun crime. The council is offering $1 million in additional funding, and KPD is increasing patrols.
This will help KPD and the community we will work together to stop this surge in violence.
I have Officer Erland here to talk with me about what these patrols can look like. So, what can we expect?
The biggest measures we're taking is just to make sure that we're saturating areas where violent crime is occurring, being very visible.
And what can that look like?
We're doing some walking patrols where citizens have an ability to come and talk to us and say, hey, what are their concerns they're seeing? And also the part of that too is that we can be seen by would-be wrongdoers too.
And what other steps are you all taking to stop this gun crime?
Probable cause stops. If we observe anything that we can stop a car for, we're going to do that because we want people to see us.
And do you have any safety tips for Knoxville residents?
The main thing I would always pass along is, and we say this all the time and we harp it, and that's just because it's true, see something, say something.
That's some great info. Thanks for speaking with me. Also, Officer Erland wanted to point out just how important following your intuition can be. He says KPD is always happy to come down to a situation and check it out, but they have to know that it's happening first. Reporting in Knoxville, Cameron Morgan Rumsey.
And following a recent incident concerning an Africana Studies professor, many students have been calling out for a change. Reporter Nia Myrtle spoke to students about how they deal with racism on UT's campus.
An incident with Africana Studies professor Dr. Melissa Hargrove and her received consequences has stirred up controversy concerning the way that the University of Tennessee deals with racism on its campus. Carmen Jones, UT SGA president, explains how she was not shocked at UT's recent ruling of the incident.
The common saying is that we're disappointed, but we're not surprised. And so just being here for 4 years, it's just been a constant pattern of students of color, specifically Black students, being disregarded and disrespected.
The university has released a statement calling for Dr. Hargrove to receive diversity training instead of termination. Unlike this recent incident, there are many cases of students dealing with racism at UT, but many go unheard. Dom Green, a junior at UT, explains their own experience dealing with racism while here at the university.
My freshman year, I was walking in the fort with my friends, and I was called the N-word by a group of white men, and they were probably around the ages like 20 to 25, and it's just like, when that happened, I was just in shock.
Carmen also explains how the student body plans to move forward and how students can elevate their voices when talking to UT's administration about racial issues.
While the administration might not like that students post things on social media, I am here for it. We are in COVID-19, and the best way to get your voice heard is like post things and make people aware of what's going on.
This is Nia Myrtle, UT Today.
The university released a statement saying that they will be transparent about the facts and will create inclusive learning environments for all students, faculty, and staff.
Vaccination numbers are growing across the country. The University of Tennessee is currently a COVID-19 vaccination site following the state's vaccination plan. Counties in East Tennessee are currently vaccinating individuals that are 65 and older, as well as those in the 1A1, 1A2, and 1B phases. This includes healthcare workers, first responders, K-12 teachers, and child care staff members. Tomorrow, the state will move into Phase 1C, which includes those 16 years and older with high-risk health conditions. The university's vaccine clinic is only open to those with an appointment. For more information, visit covid19.tn.gov.
With the university's latest announcement on the opening of campus for more in-person classes, reporter Scarlett Simpson took notes on the effects that online learning has had on students.
Almost 1 year ago, schools across the country offered an extended 2-week break with their spring break plans due to COVID-19.
What wasn't highly expected was the long-term transition from in-person classes to online Zoom classes.
Hi, everyone.
Dr. Erin Whiteside, a journalism professor at the university, speaks on how she adapted her interactive class to online.
I think for me personally, it's been a push in a good direction to think creatively about instruction in general.
From a poll of over 300 students in a female student Facebook group, around 80% of the students prefer in-person classes. The comments describe how online affected their grades and daily life.
In an online classroom, what I have heard from students is that it becomes very easy to distance from the class.
Dr. Barbara Thayer-Bacon, a specialist on theory and practice in teacher education, gives her insight on how the cultural aspect of education has changed.
The way we learn how to be active democratic citizens in a democracy is through learning how to be engaged thinkers, and it's that interaction with each other that helps us learn that process.
With the university focusing on distributing the vaccine, they hope to see a more traditional aspect of learning for the fall. Reporting for UT Today on WBIR, I'm Scarlett Simpson.
Universities across the country have removed all breaks during this semester in an effort to limit travel and keep students safe. Now there is a greater focus on mental health for faculty, staff, and students. Jennifer McComas from the University Counseling Center says that she is sharing her concerns with how students and faculty are dealing with this time.
These times certainly present challenges for feeling like there is a break. I mean, there's not days off in the semester, and jobs and school can be pretty demanding. I think it's really important to know what makes you feel rested and recharged.
The university recently announced their plan to move classes and breaks back to normal in the fall, but until then, the Counseling Center encourages all individuals to seek help if you or a loved one are battling mental health struggles.
The coronavirus pandemic continues to affect students of all ages. According to Forbes magazine, half of the internships in the country were canceled during the pandemic. But as schools begin to open their doors back to in-person learning, will internships continue to be online? Reporter Bryce Olselin has more on this story.
Students normally would be interning in an office such as this, but due to the coronavirus pandemic, this is their new office.
Most companies have really pivoted to offering online opportunities.
UT's Assistant Director of Internships, Mary Beth Woodworth, says internships are extremely helpful for students.
Studies always show that internships are among the top factors when a recruiter is deciding if they want to hire a candidate.
Some companies are resorting to virtual internships. UT's peer career advisor, Hannah Liang, says online can be overwhelming.
I think Zoom fatigue is definitely real. I guess with all our classes being on Zoom and everything, I guess, everyone experiences that nowadays.
It seems everyone is online these days, but Hannah says in-person experience is something she appreciates.
I'm very thankful to have had an internship because I feel like there's a lot of skills that you learn outside of just going to classes.
For UT Today, I'm Bryce Olselin.
Not only have internships been affected due to the coronavirus pandemic, but so has unemployment. Since the beginning of the pandemic, unemployment numbers have been at an all-time high. 5.2% of Knox County residents are currently unemployed. We sat down with UT Professor Don Bruce about the rise of unemployment claims and what this means for Knoxville residents.
When you have unemployment insurance claims rising, spiking like it did in the pandemic, that's a signal, first of all, that you have a lot of people in what we call covered jobs, UI protected employment. And that's really important to recognize, because it's not about whether you're a college student, it's not about whether you make a low wage or a high wage. If you're employed by an employer that has to pay into the unemployment insurance system, you are protected. You have that protection on your job. And so if we have more claims than some other area, that might just mean we had more covered jobs.
If you want to know more information about how you can file for unemployment, you can go to visit tennessee.gov/workforce for more information.
A radio show with the home field advantage for UT Sports. Our Phil Cervello has the story on how a Tennessee student talk show has been thriving during the pandemic.
WUTK's Rock Solid Sports has had to make many changes due to COVID-19, but a lot of them have been positive ones. The Sports Talk radio show, which is run by UT students, has figured out ways to use technology to get better guests than ever to join the show.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Rock Solid Sports here on a Monday night.
Rock Solid Sports director Andrew Bowen is proud of the way his team is using technology to reach high-profile guests with UT connections.
Honestly, I think it's been easier because of the pandemic, because everyone is online. So it's easier to be, hey, can you call in for a segment? Yeah, sure, I'm at home. I got to record this in an hour. Let's like bang it out real fast. So they can just hop on StreamYard with us and do a segment.
Programs like StreamYard and Zoom make guests anywhere just a click away. From Tennessee Titans to ESPN radio hosts, Rock Solid Sports is bringing as many guests as it can to the Knoxville airwaves.
Before the pandemic, it was harder because people would rather be in person. This has made it a lot easier for sure.
For UT Today, I'm Phil Cervello.
And Rock Solid Sports is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 90.3 FM, and each show is streamed live on Rock Solid Sports Facebook. And coming up on UT Today, a local business is giving back to the Knoxville community, and we will tell you why and what they are doing to give back to those in need. Coming up after the break. Welcome back. Since opening their doors in 2016, Haircuts has been giving back to the Knoxville community in many different ways. UT reporter Jessica Davis shows us how.
Haircuts, food, and clothing. Haircuts provides these resources every week to those who are homeless or less fortunate.
I see them as they become homeless because I volunteered under the bridge for Maxine Rains years ago. And that's where it started, my passion.
Marty Baker is the founder and CEO of Haircuts. She says once she noticed clients were only leaving with a haircut, she had to do more.
We want to help them with hygiene and get their hair cut and get them new clothes so they can move forward.
According to the Knoxville Homeless Management Information System, as of January 2019, 7,467 people were experiencing homelessness here in Tennessee. In Knox County, 4% of people make up that number. The population consists of working families and individuals, many living in cars, parks, motels, and some even under bridges. This operation wouldn't be possible without volunteers. Janice Jones has been volunteering with Haircuts for nearly 4 months, and she says if she could give all her time to volunteering, she would.
Each and every one of us could be in this scenario. We can never come in here thinking that this is not going to happen to me, because that's lies and deceptions. It can. And just to be able to help somebody else, I'll take all the time I need to do so.
Clients like Pastor Man are one of many people who appreciate all that Haircuts does.
It feels good when people just take their time out to be of service, to help us. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about when they say, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Just as loving thy neighbor. You know, and I appreciate that.
Donations are accepted every Monday through Saturday. If you're wanting to become a volunteer, you can visit haircutsknox.org/volunteer for more information. For UT Today, I'm Jessica Davis.
What an amazing story. Thank you so much, Jessica. And speaking of people who help out their fellow neighbor, Dolly Parton, the queen who helps out everyone, she has done an amazing thing this week. Our East Tennessee queen, Dolly Parton, is celebrating on Twitter after receiving her first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Dolly saying that she received a dose of her own medicine and encouraging everyone to get vaccinated.
I even changed one of my songs to fit the occasion. It goes, vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. 'Cause once you're dead, then that's a bit too late.
Our own Queen Dolly Parton. And you can see the smile on her face under her mask. Oh my goodness. All right, well, history being made there with vaccines, and right here on UT's campus, the Board of Trustees have agreed to the renaming of campus dorms Orange and White Hall to honor 2 African-American trailblazers. Theodis Robinson Jr., the first African-American student admitted to UT, and Rita Sanders Geyer, known for her work in the desegregation of higher education. Now, this would be the first dorm at UT named after a woman. A date has not yet been confirmed when this name change will happen, but we will continue to update you as we learn more and as history becomes an important part of our campus and university. Coming up next on UT Today, all things UT sports with Katie Priefer.
And we introduce you to a basketball player who bleeds orange on and off the court.
We have that story and more coming up next.
Welcome back to UT Today. I'm Katie Priefer. Thank you for spending some of your Sunday with us. Let's get into sports. From the era of Pat Summitt to today, the Lady Vols have been a powerhouse in women's basketball. UT Today's Zach Patton sat down with one of the people inside the program who is still a part of an almost 3-decade run.
Over the past 27 years, the Lady Vols basketball program has racked up a lot of hardware.
What a special opportunity that was to come here and be a part of the program with Coach Summitt.
And very few can say they've lived it.
97-98 for the undefeated season. Of course, Coach Harper was playing on that team, and just to be a part of that, the experience of an undefeated season, those don't happen very often.
Eric Trainer is the Associate Director of Media Relations and has been on the sidelines with the Lady Vols for all of his 27 years.
You know, Coach Summitt, with her milestones that she reached, I think 1,000 victories, everything along the way, 880 for the NCAA mark, and then 1,000 victories, and then continuing on.
If you've ever seen news about the Lady Vols, chances are Eric had a hand in facilitating that information.
My primary job is to publicize the women's basketball program, staff members, players, and the overall program to the community, to the media.
The media world is looking a lot different compared to when Eric started back in 1997.
With social media now, we have the ability, rather than sending it to a media outlet to put it out for us, we can do that ourselves, whether that be with graphics, messaging, linking press releases, and video content.
The world of media may be forever changing, but I can tell you one thing that's not: Eric's love for his job and this program. For UT Today, I'm Zach Patton.
Speaking of basketball, the college basketball tournament season is right around the corner. Last year's tournament was canceled due to COVID-19, and while things are going to be different this year, senior basketball player John Fulkerson says he's ready for the big matchups.
We're starting to click and really come together as one and realize what we can accomplish if we play together as a team. And so we're all really excited for the SEC tournament. It's crunch time, and that any game could be your last game as of now, and so that you have to realize how important each possession is and how important each game is.
Tips off on March 10th in Nashville, Tennessee. This week, UT Today's Grace Levinsky sat down with a UT swimmer to learn about his life outside the pool. Here's this week's Meet the Vols.
Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to Meet the Vols. Today we are here with swimmer Joseph Jordan. Now Joseph, you are from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yep.
What made you want to come to Knoxville and attend the University of Tennessee?
What drew me to Knoxville was how close the men's team was together. I went to a couple other schools and looked around, and I just fell in love with the way that the team bonded with each other and the way that they interacted on the pool deck.
Now on to some get to know you questions. So I want to know your favorite guilty pleasure song.
My favorite guilty pleasure song is probably Who Shot You by Biggie.
Can you sing a little bit for us?
I'm not the best singer. I don't know if you want that.
And then what is your favorite food or your favorite restaurant?
I think my favorite food would have to be the donuts that they have at Fresh Hall, which is on campus.
Okay.
They're pretty good.
And what about your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant, I really like the Copper Cellar on the Strip.
Okay.
I've eaten a lot of that.
Cool. And then what is one thing in your room that your roommates cannot touch?
My roommates, They absolutely cannot touch my bed because that's like my safe spot.
That's understandable. And do you have any strange fears or phobias?
I really don't like spiders. Spiders kind of creep me out, but that's about it.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys for tuning in to Meet the Balls, and catch us next week on the next Meet the Balls.
All right, that's going to do it for UT Today Sports, but stick around for a new kind of breakfast pizza you've definitely never thought of.
And welcome back. Now, all right, Maura, I have a question for you. When you think of toppings on your pizza, what's your go-to topping? Pepperoni, ham, pineapple?
I do love a good Hawaiian pizza, especially from mushroom.
Okay.
Definitely my favorite. What
Fruit
about you?
Loops.
No thanks.
Okay, well, there is an Iowa restaurant that is causing quite a stir with this new addition, a Fruit Loops pizza. It comes with sour cream and cream cheese sauce, topped with mozzarella, Fruit Loops, and drizzled with Greek yogurt and condensed milk. Yum, yum, yum. The manager says while it's not a crowd pleaser like pepperoni, people are excited to try it.
Definitely something that catches your eye. Definitely not something that I would be ordering for breakfast.
Nope.
But speaking of breakfast, today is National Cereal Day. Enjoy the day with a bowl of Fruit Loops, a cereal pizza maybe if you would like, or whatever you want to enjoy on this Sunday morning.
And make sure you check us out on all of our social media. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at UT Today TV for all things UT Today.
Be sure to head over to our social media pages and let us know what cereal you grew up eating. My family's go-to was Raisin Bran, but every once in a while we could convince my mom to buy something not so much on the healthy side, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch, something like that.
Oof, oh, to be a kid again and to eat Fruit Loops every day for breakfast. The dream, I tell you what. Well, that's going to do it for this morning for UT Today, and we'd like to end the show with scenes from the chimney tops in Tennessee.
Yes, and first, before we leave, I would like to thank everyone behind the scenes, all of our producers and all of our technical help and directors for helping us make this show happen. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you right back here next week.